Justice for Gabby Petito continues to trend across multiple social media platforms. Savannah Chrisley has jumped in to do her part. As those who follow Todd Chrisley's daughter on social media know, she's always been big on using her platform to do what she could to help with big issues in the world. So those who follow her on social media were not too surprised to see her doing her part to raise awareness on Gabby Petito. If you are unfamiliar with this story, Savannah Chrisley posting about Gabby Petito might have left you a little confused. Who is she exactly? The Entertainment Chronicle has done a pretty incredible job of keeping us updated on the details surrounding Gabby Petito. If you are unfamiliar with the name, Gabby Petito is a 22-year-old woman who was reported missing on September 11th. Her family lost contact with her toward the end of August 2021. When her family realized her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, returned home without her, she was reported missing. Thanks to YouTubers turning over footage of where they believe they spotted Gabby Petito's van, authorities were able to discover human remains that were later confirmed to be Gabby Petito. Her body was discovered roughly 200 yards away from where the YouTubers spotted the van. Following an autopsy, her cause of death has been ruled a homicide, though no additional details regarding exactly how she died have been reported. Now, those who have followed this story know Brian Laundrie was reported missing on Friday, September 17. His parents claimed they had not seen him since Tuesday, September 14. Those following the story argue Brian Laundrie is not missing, he's hiding. Moreover, the internet has all but convinced Brian Laundrie for killing Gabby Petito. Savannah Chrisley took to her Instagram stories to share a beautiful photo of Gabby Petito. She noted that her heart was broken for Gabby Petito and her family. She also included the hashtag Justice for Gabby. Being an Instagram story, it was only visible on Savannah Chrisley's profile for 24 hours before it expired. Unfortunately, it also didn't give her followers a chance to respond to it either. But it was Savannah Chrisley's way of raising awareness and helping in the quest to justice for Gabby Petito. Do you think it is important for celebrities to use their platforms to raise awareness to things such as this? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. And keep coming back for the latest on the Chrisley family. Savannah Chrisley has always carried a blend of Southern charm and steel resolve. Known for her vibrant personality, televised life, and entrepreneurial ventures, she's been no stranger to the public eye. But in the quiet aftermath of personal turmoil, Savannah's voice recently took on a different tone, a tone of heartbreak, urgency, and raw humanity. As the world watches, she has become a powerful advocate in the fight for justice and awareness, using her platform to elevate a name that the world should never forget: Gabby Petito. The tragic story of Gabby Petito struck a deep, unsettling chord with millions across the world. A beautiful young woman with a free spirit and a passion for travel, Gabby documented her van life adventures on social media alongside her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. From the outside, the couple seemed like a picture of youthful wanderlust. But behind the filtered photos and smiling faces lay a more disturbing truth, one that ended with Gabby's disappearance and, heartbreakingly, her death. When Gabby was reported missing in September 2021, the case ignited a firestorm of media attention. What followed was a whirlwind of police investigations, national headlines, internet sleuthing, and ultimately, mourning. Her remains were discovered in Wyoming's Grand Teton National Park, and her death was ruled a homicide. The nation wept for Gabby, but the outpouring of grief wasn't just for the life lost. It was for the countless stories like hers that never made the news. For Savannah Chrisley, Gabby's story wasn't just another tragedy in the headlines. It was a mirror, one that reflected the hidden suffering that so many women endure, and one that awakened a sense of responsibility. Having experienced her own share of pain, toxic relationships, and the complexities of fame and vulnerability, Savannah saw in Gabby not just a name or a hashtag, but a symbol, a warning, a plea for change. And so, with tears behind her lashes and determination in her heart, Savannah began speaking out. What began as a social media post An emotional tribute paired with the now viral hashtag Justice for Gabby Petito quickly grew into a movement of its own. Savannah used her influence not just to memorialize Gabby, but to spotlight the broader epidemic of domestic violence, emotional abuse, and the dangerous silence that often surrounds them. She became an unexpected but powerful voice in a conversation that for too long had remained buried under stigma and denial. Savannah's advocacy is more than performative. There's a weight behind her words that only pain can forge. Though she has never publicly confirmed personal experiences in full detail, those who have followed her journey know the complexities she's endured, both within her family and in her romantic life. Her heartbreak, though different in context, gave her a kindred connection to Gabby and to the many women whose cries for help go unheard. She began collaborating with nonprofit organizations focused on protecting women, empowering survivors, and educating the public on the warning signs of abuse. With each interview, podcast appearance, and post, Savannah widened the lens, showing that Gabby's story is not isolated, but tragically common. One of Savannah's most powerful messages focused on the idea of perception versus reality. Gabby's Instagram feed, filled with golden sunlight, mountain backdrops, and wide smiles, masked the reality of a troubled relationship. Savannah, having spent years presenting a polished image to the world while managing internal battles, related deeply to that dichotomy. Just because someone smiles in photos doesn't mean they aren't suffering in silence, she wrote in a deeply personal post. The words reverberated across platforms, shared by survivors, advocates, and celebrities alike. It was a stark reminder that abuse doesn't always leave visible scars, and that social media, while beautiful, can become a mask that hides desperation. Savannah's campaign is built not just on sympathy, but on a call to action. She began encouraging her followers to educate themselves on the warning signs of domestic violence, gaslighting, manipulation, isolation, emotional volatility. She shared hotline numbers, survivor stories, and statistics that shook many to their core. One particularly jarring post highlighted that over 1 in 3 women in the United States experiences domestic violence in her lifetime. Through live Q&A sessions, Savannah provided space for survivors to share their experiences, creating a digital circle of safety and solidarity. For many, it was the first time they had ever spoken their truth aloud. Through their words and Savannah's amplification, Gabby's name became not only a symbol of loss, but also a beacon of strength. It wasn't long before Savannah took her advocacy offline as well. She helped organize vigils and fundraisers in Gabby's memory, with proceeds directed towards shelters and support networks for domestic violence survivors. At one such vigil in Nashville, hundreds gathered to light candles and share stories. In the glow of flickering flames, silence hung heavy, pregnant with grief, yet brimming with resolve. The heartbreak that drove Savannah into advocacy didn't end with a single post or campaign. It has become a lasting part of her identity, a compass pointing her toward causes bigger than herself. As her following grew, so did her sense of duty. She began encouraging other influencers to use their platforms responsibly, to tell stories that matter, and to challenge the toxic culture of performative perfection. Savannah also called for systemic change. She became a vocal supporter of the Gabby Petito Foundation, launched by Gabby's family to support organizations that help find missing persons and provide resources for victims of domestic violence. Savannah's backing brought fresh eyes and donations, as well as renewed media attention to the foundation's goals. Yet, even amid the growing spotlight, Savannah never made the story about herself. In every post, she redirected the focus to Gabby and to the millions of unnamed victims whose stories remain untold. It was never about publicity. It was about purpose. In interviews, when asked why she became so invested in the case, Savannah often pointed to a deep, intuitive connection, an ache that wouldn't let go. She described a sense of moral obligation, a calling that refused to be ignored. I kept thinking, what if this was my sister? My best friend? Me? She shared once, her voice trembling but unwavering. For many of her followers, Savannah's transformation has been nothing short of inspiring. She turned her own heartbreak into a platform for healing. She used her visibility not to distract, but to illuminate. And she reminded the world that behind every trending hashtag lies a human life, a life worth protecting, remembering, and fighting for. As the anniversary of Gabby's death approached, Savannah organized a digital campaign titled Voices for Gabby, inviting people from all walks of life to share messages, art, and tributes in her memory. The campaign spread like wildfire, with thousands using the hashtag #JusticeForGabbyPetido hashtag to keep the conversation alive. The message was clear. Gabby's story will not be forgotten, and her death will not be in vain.